should be setting up. Our officials should be, they are here, West sides. And something else, oh, I know, if you want to let anybody know outside the building, they are going to live stream this. Is that the proper term? Live stream at seniorBibleQuizing.com. And seniorBibleQuizing.com, all one word, and I think it's obvious once you get on there what to do. Someone had suggested that if they are watching, they can't see the score, but if they would pull up UPCquiz.com to further complicate things, they could watch the live tournament score on one screen and then the live stream on the other, thereby know the score. Or they could just keep score at home, right? But if they don't know how to keep score, then back to UPCquiz.com. Is this making sense? All right. Did I welcome you? Welcome to our general session. Did you get your husband anything to eat? Oh, what a blessing. Where is he, brother? Well, there he is. She got you some food?
Yeah.
I should have. Oh, what? A smash burger? Whoa, I got, what did I get? Help me out here.
You got something that was not in a bowl.
Oh, chili. What's it called? Chipotle. Chipotle. We just hope there was no E. coli or anything.
But it was not in a bowl.
We should be lucky.
I don't see Brother Beardsley out there.
Oh, that's right. Where Dr. Beardsley? Lord have mercy. Oh, well.
There he is.
Brother Beardsley, as soon as he comes, we can.
Question number 5.
What time did we dismiss? You don't know when we dismissed? We'll go with that. I don't know why I expect you to be the timekeeper. All right, what is the time now? 2 o'clock? We're going to be, I'm going to say 2:05. I keep notes for posterity on the actual schedule. This is the printed schedule, but my handwriting is the actual schedule. Cool. You're not impressed, are you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to distract you. I'll let you get a minute to collect yourselves. I had a book here somewhere. We are on 54, do we agree? Is it 54? Yep. On your book there. Oh. And then Brother Huffman is, are you comfortable there, Brother Huffman? You okay? All right. Guess I should have asked for the billings of that too.
But you care about one more.
Well, I know that's the way it came out, but it's not the case.
How to proceed.
Cool. All right, ma'am, you have all the names of our suspects? Everything. I guess nothing changed from the picture of all the movings of the table evidence. The mics are on. All right. General session. Welcome. And congratulations to Western 3 and Virginia 1. We have 6 quizzes to lead us up to our finals for tomorrow. Of course, prayer and share is at 7 tonight. Everyone's encouraged to be part of that. This quiz is open. Question 1 is worth 10 points. Question: what went under the ends of the world according to?
Yellow 3.
Interruption.
According to Romans chapter 10. Their words. Did I say did not Israel know? Yes, barely. Your silence all you, and the words must be inspired.
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 10-point question will be read for Western without interruption. Question. What went into the ends of the world according to Romans chapter 10, verse 18?
Read to.
Their words.
That is correct. Question 2 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question. As recorded in which verse of Romans chapter 3, what is said about their...
Yellow 3.
Interruption.
Their throat. Verse 13. The throat is an open sepulchre.
It is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be read for Western without interruption. Question. As recorded in which verse of Romans chapter 3, what is said about their feet?
Read to.
Their feet are swift to shed blood. Verse 15.
That is correct. Question 3 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question. Paul stated in verse 25 of Romans chapter 7, with mine I serve what? But with...
Yellow 1.
Interruption.
But with the flesh I serve what? The law of God? The law of sin?
That is correct. Question 4 is worth 10 points. Question. The creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage.
Read to.
Interruption.
Of corruption into what? As recorded in Romans chapter 8. Also shall be delivered from bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God.
That is correct. Question 5 is worth 10 points. Question. Why did Paul long to see the Romans?
Read to.
Interruption.
As recorded in Romans chapter 1, verse 11, for I long to see you, that I may impart unto you some spiritual gift, and you be established.
That is correct. Question 6 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question. The praise of the Jew is not of whom, but of whom?
Read to.
Not of men, but of God.
That is correct. Question 7 is worth 10 points. Question. Provide things how according
Yellow 2.
Interruption.
According to a verse of the study, honest and sensible men.
Tie.
That is correct. Question 8 is a quotation question worth 10 points. Question. A verse of Romans chapter 9 concludes with the word Gentiles.
Read to.
Interruption.
Quote this verse. Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
That is correct. Question 9 is worth 20 points. Question. Paul reckoned what according to?
Read 1.
Interruption.
According to Romans chapter 8, verse 18, that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
That is correct. Question 10 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question. In chapter 15, Paul was persuaded of his brethren that they were full of what?
Yellow 1.
Interruption.
Full of what? Filled with what? Able also to do what? Full of goodness, filled with all knowledge, able also to admonish one another.
That is correct. Question 11 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question. One verse of Romans chapter 7 contains the words inward man and
Read 1.
Interruption.
So we have a mislabeled question here, we'll avoid replace, sorry about that, really quick one. Sorry about that. This is replacement 11, question 11. Question 11 is a cross-reference, two-part question worth 20 points question. What is said about the ungodly in verse 5 of Romans chapter 4, and what is said about the ungodly in verse 6?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
In verse 6 of Romans chapter 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. For when we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly.
That is correct. Question 12. Is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, inasmuch as he was what, Paul did what?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Paul did what, according to Romans chapter 11, verse 13? Inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, and magnify mine office.
That is correct. Question 13 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question, one verse twice.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
One verse twice mentions
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted quotation question will be read for Virginia without interruption. Question, one verse twice contains the words more grace. Quote this verse.
Yellow, 1.
And if that works,
That is incorrect. Question 14 is a cross-reference, two-part question worth 20 points. Question, what four words are in verse 22 of Romans chapter 3?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Romans chapter 3 are also found in which other verse of study. There is no difference. Chapter 10, verse 12.
That is correct. Question 15 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question, by reason of whom, what was made subject?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
What was made subject? To what? By reason of him who had subjected the same in hope that the creature was made subject to vanity.
Time.
That is correct. Question 16 is worth 20 points. Question, according to Romans chapter 3, what statement follows?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
What statement follows the question? Are we better than they? No, in the last, we have proof for Jews and Gentiles that they're all ministry.
That is incorrect, and this interrupted 20-point question will be reread for Western without interruption. Question, according to Romans chapter 3, what statement follows the questions? Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles?
Red, 2.
Yes, of the Gentiles also. They were saying,
Tied.
That is incorrect. Question 17 is a quotation completion question worth 20 points. Question, and
Red, 1.
Interruption.
And if by grace, then it is in no more of works, otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is in no more grace, otherwise work is no more work.
that is incorrect. This interrupted quotation completion question will be reread for Virginia without interruption. Question, and if children, then heirs.
Yellow, 1.
And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together.
That is correct. Question 18 is a quotation question worth 30 points. Question, quote what is said about the minister of God.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Minister of God, in Romans chapter 13, verse 4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good, but if I do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath on him that doeth evil.
That is correct. Contest by Western.
Tied.
This contest is withdrawn, and now timeout for Western.
Tied.
All right, time for question 19. It is a four-part question worth 30 points. Question: how shall who do what under what condition, as recorded in verse 11 of Romans chapter 8?
Red, 1.
He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his Spirit that dwelleth in you. But if the Spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you,
Tied.
That is incorrect. Contest by Western.
Tied.
Yes, sir.
This contest is denied. Now, timeout for Western.
Tied.
All right, time in for question 20. Question 20 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 30 points. Question: what three-word phrase that ends verse 12 in Romans?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Romans chapter 4 is also found in which other verse of the same chapter?
Tied.
That is incorrect. This interrupted cross-reference two-part question will be reread for Virginia without interruption. Question: what three-word phrase that ends verse 12 of Romans chapter 5 is also found in which other verse of study?
Tied.
That closes that quiz.
This quiz is closed. Let's give the two teams, Western 3 and Virginia, a hand. All right, the next quiz shows that Oregon will be on the red and Wisconsin on the yellow. So please be setting up. And I'm informed that Virginia has won, so they advance. We have participation awards for the Western team, if they'll stay nearby. First, we have looks like a gold medal ceremony. All right, the official score, we do have a gold medal ceremony. 70 points for Western 3, and Virginia wins it with 110 points. Our second high scorer from the quiz with 50 points is Ashlyn. Congratulations to her. And our high score, winning the silver medal, 100 points for Mark. Let's give Mark a hand. Sorry about that. All right, and if the fine Western team will come.
You feel better today? You feel better today? Good. Yeah, okay, you need it.
That is correct. Question 2 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question, Israel sought the law of righteousness.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
How? But
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Wisconsin without interruption. Question, Israel sought the law of righteousness, not how, but how.
Yellow, 2.
That's the righteousness of the law. Might be fulfilled in us.
Time.
That is incorrect. Question 3 is worth 10 points. Question, as Christ also received us to the glory of God, wherefore receive ye who?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Wherefore receive ye whom, according to 8 verse 30. Wherefore receive ye one another.
Time.
That is correct. Question 4 is worth 10 points. Question, to whom are rulers a terror?
Red, 3.
the evil?
That is correct. Question 5 is worth 10 points. Question, at what did they stumble according to Romans?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
According to Romans 9 verse 32. At that stone.
That is correct. Question 6 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, verse 39 of Romans chapter 8 speaks of the love of whom?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
The love of whom, which is in whom, the love of God which is in Christ Jesus our Lord.
That is correct. Question 7 is worth 10 points. Question, as recorded in a verse of Romans chapter 5, what shall happen by the...
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 10-point question will be reread for Wisconsin without interruption. Question, as recorded in a verse of Romans chapter 5, what shall happen by the obedience of one?
Yellow, 2.
Shall many be made righteous? For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous.
That is correct. Question 8 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question, the same verse of study says to cast off what?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Cast off what and put on what? Cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light.
That is correct.
Substitution timeout.
Yes, sir. All right, ready for our 20 pointers. Question 9 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, circumcision verily profiteth under what?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Under what condition? But we break the law. What happens? The circumcision very popular in that keep the law, but we break the law, that circumcision may not circumcision.
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Wisconsin without interruption. Question, circumcision verily profiteth under what condition, and thy circumcision is made uncircumcision under what condition?
Yellow, 1.
If thou keep the law, if thou be a breaker of the law.
That is correct. Question 10 is a four-part question worth 20 points. Question, now being made free from what and become what?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
You have what? At the end, what? And become circumcised, you have through holiness in the end of those.
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted four-part question will be reread for Oregon without interruption. Question, now being made free from what and become what? Ye have your fruit unto what and the end what, according to Romans chapter 6, verse 22.
Red, 2.
Sin, and against service to God. We have the great holiness and the end of life, right?
That is correct. Question 11 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, who are instructed to praise the Lord?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
And you are instructed to lie, as recorded in Romans 15. All you Gentiles, all you people.
That is correct. Contest by Wisconsin.
Is it one time word or not?
Contest withdrawn.
This contest is withdrawn. And now we're ready for question 12. Question 12 is worth 20 points. Question, what is written is found in?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
What is written as found in Romans 14:11? As it saith, Lord, and you shall not do and shall confess to God.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be read for Wisconsin without interruption. Question, what is written as found in Romans chapter 8, verse 36?
Yellow, 1.
We are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. For thy sake. We are killed all the day long.
That is correct. Question 13 is a 4-part question worth 20 points. Question: ye have not received what again to do what, but we have.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
That we have received what, whereby you've heard what? This one in Romans 8:15. The spirit of bondage again fear, the spirit of adoption by your Abba Father.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 4-part question will be read for Wisconsin without interruption. Question: ye have not received what again to do what, but ye have received what whereby we do what, according to Romans chapter 8, verse 15.
Yellow, 2.
For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father.
That is correct. Time out for Oregon.
Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't. Did I get a prize?
Gold star.
Tie.
Time in for question 14. Question 14 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question: quote the verse of study that mentions birds.
Yellow, 2.
Tie.
That is incorrect. Question 15 is a cross-reference 2-part question worth 20 points. Question: the words for this cause are found in which verse?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
In which verse? Romans chapter 1. And I found in which verse of Romans chapter 13, verse 26, verse 6.
That is correct.
Tie.
Question 16 is worth 20 points. Question: as found in 2 consecutive verses of Romans chapter 8, Paul was persuaded of what?
Red, 1.
That neither death nor life nor angels nor principalities nor powers nor things present nor things to come nor height nor depth nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God which is in Christ Jesus our Lord.
That is correct. Question 17 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question: 3 times in a verse of Romans chapter 9, the word righteousness.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Righteousness is mentioned. Quote this verse. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles which follow not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith?
Excuse me.
That is correct. Question 18 is a cross-reference 4-part question worth 30 points. Question: As found in which verse of Romans chapter 8, what is said about being carnally minded? And is found in which verse of Romans chapter 8, what is said about the carnal mind?
Red, 1.
Verse 6, for to be carnally minded is that to be spiritually minded is that in peace. Verse 7, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither we can be.
That is correct. Time out for Wisconsin.
Time.
All right, time for question 19. Question 19 is a cross-reference four-part question worth 30 points. Question, what did Moses say in which verse of Romans chapter 10? And what was said unto Moses in which verse of Romans?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
And which verse of Romans chapter 9? My third and fourth answers are I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Verse 15 of Romans chapter 9, and my first and second answers are
Time.
That is incorrect. This interrupted cross-reference four-part question will be read for Wisconsin without interruption. Question, what did Moses say in which verse of Romans chapter 10? And what was said unto Moses in which verse of Romans chapter 9?
Time.
Time out for Wisconsin. I heard Wisconsin first.
Time.
All right, time in for question 20. Question 20 is a five-part question worth 30 points. Question, as found in which verse, who believeth what and who eateth what?
Red, 1.
and neither who is weak eateth herbs, nor believe that he may eat all things. Romans 14:2.
That is correct.
Contest.
Contest, sure. I heard you. Contest by Wisconsin.
Sorry about that. This contest is withdrawn, and now let me check with my scoreboard. This quiz is closed. Let's give the two teams a hand, Oregon and Wisconsin. All right, the scorekeeper informs me that Oregon has won that, so they'll advance. If Wisconsin can stay close, we have participation awards. Let me go ahead, though, and invite Virginia back, this time, though, to the red, and then Illinois 1. You will be on the yellow. Virginia red, Illinois yellow. We'll get the silver medal ceremony underway here. All right, the team scores here, 85 points for Wisconsin. The winning team, as noted, Oregon with 145. Our second high score for the silver medal ceremony, but first the 60 points goes to Ryan for second high score. Congratulations, Ryan. Winning the silver medal, 105 points, and high score again. All right, and then the Wisconsin team will come. We have 2-1, right? Or 2-0. You have somebody to snap a picture? Okay, perfect. Oh, here we go. All right, then what age-wise they can come back? If they choose, both quizzers can come back to the intermediate division, Wisconsin. Yeah, all right, let's see that. Next year, you'll be hearing more from that team, of course. From Wisconsin, Coordinator Contino, that has a ring to it. There he is, she's here with us, Coordinator Cece. Woo! All right. Looks like we have lady and gentlemen. How's that feel? How's that feel? Nah. They're just guys. They're just guys. Right. Oh my goodness, I'm banging on the table. Did I mess up? Heather, I just banged on the table. Absent-mindedly, did I mess up? I'm so sorry. I'll make an announcement. By the way, for any who have come in since we got started, on seniorBibleQuizing.com, all one word, they are live streaming this, and so you can watch outside the building. And then someone had asked about the fact that the score is not seen. You could call up UPCquiz.com and watch the live tournament scoring on a separate device, and thereby see it on the one and watch the score as it goes along on the other. Or keep score at home if you prefer. SeniorBibleQuizing.com is live streaming, so if you want to let folks know, you're welcome to do that. Tell them that the lovely dulcet tones you hear are that of, never mind. They don't get to see me, they get to see you. Next year, I'm going to have a second camera pointed at me, looking up my nostrils. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. And congratulations sincerely to both teams, Virginia and Illinois, fine teams. We have all the information we need. This quiz is over. Question 1 is worth 10 points. Question: the Spirit helpeth one according to...
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
According to Romans chapter 8, verse 26, our infirmities.
That is correct.
Question 2 is worth 10 points. Question, all things work together for good.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Good. To whom? The will of God. And the hope in Jesus Christ. And we know that all things work together for good to the will of God, to them who are called into Jesus Christ.
Time.
That is correct. Question 3 is a 2-part question worth 10 points. Question, to no man recompense what?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
No man recompense what is found in which verse of Romans chapter 12? Recompense to no man evil for evil, verse 17.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 2-part question will be reread for Virginia without interruption. Question, to no man recompense what for what?
Red, 2.
Evil for evil.
That is correct. Question 4 is a quotation question worth 10 points. Question, a verse of Romans chapter 12 speaks of teaching.
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
Teaching. Quote this verse. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth not teaching.
That is correct. Question 5 is a 2-part question worth 10 points. Question, do what and thou shalt have.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Life, as according to verse chapter 13. That which is good and that shall have praise.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 2-part question will be reread for Illinois without interruption. Question, do what and thou shalt have praise of whom according to Romans chapter 13 verse 3.
Yellow, 1.
For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Same referring to the power.
Time.
That is incorrect. Question 6 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question, you were free from what?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
You were free from what? When Spender Romans 6 verse 20. You were free from righteousness when you were the servants of sin.
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Virginia without interruption. Question, you were free from what when you were what, according to Romans chapter 6, verse 20?
Red, 2.
For when you were the servants of sin, you were free from righteousness.
That is correct. Question 7 is worth 10 points. Question, according to the verse of Romans chapter 2, following the one that contains the word conscience.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Takes your conscience what? Which are the work of the law written in my heart, your conscience there.
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 10-point question will be reread for Illinois without interruption. Question, according to the verse of Romans chapter 2, following the one that contains the word conscience, God shall judge what?
Yellow, 1.
The secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel.
That is correct. Question 8 is worth 10 points. Question, who is named in verse...
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
Who is named in verse 8 of Romans chapter 16? Amplias.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 10-point question will be reread for Virginia without interruption. Question, who is named in verse 8 of Romans chapter 1?
Red, 3.
Paul that being wrong, beloved God, Father, we saints, grace to increase in God, our Lord, and Lord Jesus Christ.
Tie.
That is incorrect. It's yes by Virginia. This contest is withdrawn. Now for the 20 pointers, question 9 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question: Paul spoke of having no more what?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Having no more what? And having what, as recorded in Romans chapter 15, verse 23, having no more place in these parts, having a great desire these men to come unto you.
That is correct. Question 10 is worth 20 points. Question: What is said about Israel in
Red, 1.
Interruption.
In verse 31 of Romans chapter 9. But is Israel, which taught after the law of righteousness, has not attained to the law of righteousness?
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be read for Illinois without interruption. Question: What is said about Israel in verse 1 of Romans chapter 10?
Yellow, 3.
Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
That is correct. Contest by Virginia.
Tied.
from the south? No, what's he from Richmond? Don't know.
This contest is denied. Now question 11 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question, against who maketh?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Who maketh intercession to whom? As recorded in the verse of our study. Against Israel, Elias maketh intercession to God.
Tied.
That is correct.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Contest by Illinois. 60 seconds to confirm.
She's been over here with blankets all day. Well,
Tied.
Withdrawn, sir.
Just now said time now. Give me a break. Withdrawn by Illinois. You're wanting to move on so you can go to dinner, right?
I was actually waiting at the camera.
Did you say hi, Mom?
No, she said.
Oh, she's out.
Maybe hi, sis. No. All right, pardon the Venus. Question 12, ready for? Question 12 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question, and 100 years.
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
And 100 years old. Quote the only verse of study that contains these words. And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb.
That is correct. Question 13 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, for thy sake we are...
Red, 1.
Interruption.
For thy sake we are killed how, and are accounted how, as recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 36, all the day long, as sheep for the slaughter.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be read for Illinois without interruption. Question, for thy sake we are killed when, we are accounted how?
Yellow, 2.
For thy sake we are killed all the day long, we are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
That is correct. Question 14 is worth 20 points. Question, Paul questioned thinking what?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Thinking what, as recorded in Romans chapter 2, verse 3, and thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God?
That is correct. Question 15 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question, exhortation.
Between? Should be another. Guide himself? There's not where it's supposed to be, there's not. Very interesting. Well, she said it just shows the one team that can get both. I suppose the. She's just reading So Heather didn't show up. All right,
It indicated a tie, and of course, if it's opposing, we void and replace, but also if there's a technical malfunction, the rules say we void and replace, so we'll void and replace. Give me a quick moment to confer here.
I lost my place.
All right, this is the replacement question. Replacement question 15. It is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question, one verse of chapter 8 refers to a cry.
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
Cry. Quote this verse. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father.
That is correct. Question 16 is a cross-reference question worth 20 points. Question, which verses of Romans chapter 4 describe Abraham?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
Describe Abraham as our father. Chapter 4, verses 1 and 12.
That is correct. Question 17 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question, as what is written, who pleased?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Who pleased? Not himself. But did what? As it is written, please not himself, but as it is written.
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted three-part question will be reread for Illinois without interruption. Question, as what is written, who pleased not himself, as found in which verse of Romans chapter 15?
Yellow, 1.
For even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. Romans chapter 15, verse 3.
That is correct. Contest by Virginia. Contest is withdrawn.
Timeout.
Now, timeout for Illinois.
Mark, we can get that if you need to confirm. We can get that if you need to be with your team there. Oh, okay, I thought it was broken.
No, I don't think so.
One day she will. One day you will.
Oh, crazy.
What did I do wrong now? Are we on mute?
No, I just didn't.
You on mute?
Time.
All right, we're ready for question 18. Question 18 is a three-part question worth 30 points. Question. Concerning the power, which verse of Romans states that he is the minister of God?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption. He's the minister of God to thee for good. Be afraid under what condition and why? Chapter 13, verse 4. If they do that which is evil, for he beareth all the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, or avenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
Time.
That is correct.
Timeout.
Timeout for Illinois.
Oh, you forget to unmute it? And why is that? Are you forgetful? So I'm not on mute now? Everybody. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Time.
All right, question 19 is a quotation question worth 30 points. Question. Twice Adam is named in a verse.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Quote this verse. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them who had not sinned, after the similitude of Adam's transgression is bigger than that was to come.
That is correct. And question 20 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 30 points. Question, as found in our verses of Romans chapter 8, Paul questions what not separating us from the love of Christ and states that what shall not separate us from the love of God.
Red, 1.
Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? Neither death nor life nor angels nor principalities nor powers nor things present nor things to come nor height nor depth nor any other creature.
Tie.
That is correct. And this quiz is closed. This quiz is closed. Let's give the two teams a hand, Virginia and Illinois. Last little bit, seniorBibleQuizzing.com has this live stream. Now, I understand you can keep up with the score at UPCquiz.com. So we have all kinds of options.
All right. So where are we at yet? Not quite. Oregon and Texas. They in trouble?
Yeah.
I was seeing if you were in trouble. Call security if you need to. All right, here we go. Congratulations to these fine teams, Oregon and Texas. And this quiz is over.
Question 1 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question: in what we are more than what?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
As found in Romans chapter 8, verse 37. In all these things, more than conquerors.
That is correct. Question 2 is worth 10 points. Question: who was chosen in the Lord?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Mind you, Romans 16, verse 13. Rufus.
That is correct. Question 3 is a quotation question worth 10 points. Question: please his neighbor.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Both of us are understanding that contains this phrase, that every one of us pleases neighbor for his good to edification.
That is correct. Question 4 is worth 10 points. Question: locate the verse that ends in the word edification.
Yellow, 3.
Romans chapter 15, verse 2.
That is correct. Question 5 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question: verse 18 of Romans chapter 16 refers to deceiving.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Deceiving what?
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Texas without interruption. Question: verse 18 of Romans chapter 16 refers to deceiving the hearts of whom by what?
Yellow, 3.
The hearts of the simple, by good words and fair speeches.
That is correct. Question 6 is worth 10 points. Question: what is death according to Romans?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
According to Romans chapter 6, verse 23, the wages of sin.
That is correct. Question 7 is worth 10 points. Question: verse 24 of Romans chapter 3 speaks of being justified.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus.
That is correct. Question 8 is worth 10 points. Question: what armor is mentioned?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
What armor is mentioned according to Romans 13, verse 12? The armor of light.
That is correct. Yes, sir? All set? All right, ready for the 20s. Question 9 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question: being justified how?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
We have what is found in Romans chapter 5, verse 1. Be justified by faith with the peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Oregon without interruption. Question: being justified how? We shall be saved how? According to Romans chapter 5, verse 9.
Red, 2.
By his blood, we shall be saved from death through him.
That is correct. Question 10 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question: God sent whom how?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted three-part question will be reread for Texas without interruption. Question:
God sent whom, how, and why, according to Romans chapter 8, verse 3.
Yellow, 3.
God sent his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sinking sin in the flesh.
That is correct. Question 11 is worth 20 points. Question, what contrast is found in verse 23 of Romans chapter?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Verse 23 of Romans chapter.
Tied.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be reread for Texas without interruption. Question, what contrast is found in verse 23 of Romans chapter 6?
Yellow, 3.
For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
That is correct. Question 12 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question, which verse gives the instruction to rejoice with whom?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
And weep with whom? Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Romans chapter 12, verse 15.
That is correct. Time out for Oregon.
But they'll hear you. No, it's on the camera.
Is she a perfectionist?
Tied.
All right, question 13 we're ready for. It is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, as recorded in the same verse of Romans chapter 7, when was I alive?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
And when did I die? I was alive without the law once, but when the command came to me by then I died.
That is correct. Test by Texas. Is contestants withdrawn. Question 14 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 20 points. Question, Paul said to likewise do what is found in verse 11 of Romans chapter 6, and likewise do what in verse 5?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Verse 5 of Romans chapter 16. Likewise reckon ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto God through Jesus Christ our Lord. Likewise speak the church that is in their house. So live in the world, up in the disgrace of the King and Christ.
That is correct. Question 15 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question. Twice the phrase minister of God.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Minister of God is contained in the single verse of study. Quote this verse. For he is the minister of God to me for good, but if I do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, for I should execute wrath upon him who doeth evil.
That is correct. All right, question 16 now. Question 16 is worth 20 points. Question. What is said about Jesus Christ in verse 8 of Romans?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Romans chapter 1. Verse 8, I got to Jesus Christ for y'all, that your faith is spoken out throughout the whole world.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be reread for Texas without interruption. Question. What is said about Jesus Christ in verse 8 of Romans chapter 15?
Yellow, 1.
Now I say that Jesus Christ was a minister of the circumcision, for the Jew of God, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers.
That is correct. Question 17 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question. Firstborn.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
For the verses say they contain this information. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
That is correct. Time out for Texas.
Steve Judd.
Tied.
All right, time in for the 30-point questions. Question 18 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 30 points. Question. How many verses of Romans chapter 4 conclude with the word righteousness?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
What are they? Verse 3. Verse 9. Verse 5 and number 3.
Tied.
That is incorrect, and this interrupted cross-reference two-part question will be reread for Oregon without interruption. Question. How many verses of Romans chapter 4 conclude with the word righteousness, and what are they?
Red, 1.
Verses 3, 5, 9, and 22 and there are 4.
That is correct. Question 19 is a cross-reference question worth 30 points. Question. Locate the verses of study that begin with the word likewise.
Red, 1.
Romans 6, 11, Romans 16-5.
Tied.
That is incorrect.
Timeout, please.
Timeout for Texas. Red one was incorrect.
Tied.
All right, question 20. Question 20 is a quotation question worth 30 points. Question: quote the verse of Romans chapter 15 that names 3 geographical locations.
Red, 1.
For hath he son of Macedonia and the page and the Christian contribution to the poor sanctuary at Jerusalem.
That is correct. And this quiz is closed. This quiz is closed. Let's give the 2 teams a hand. Oregon and Texas. All right. We'll have the results and ribbons here in a moment, but I'm informed that Texas won that, and so they're going to remain on the yellow, and Illinois will come back, but to the red this time. We're down to our final 4 teams. We have 2 games left in this time segment, and then we'll be ready for the finals in the morning. So, top 4 teams. And we've been in trophy territory for quite some time, of course. Top 12 did it. All those tied for 9th, 2 for 7, and 2 for 5th. So.
Is she mad at me? I'm sorry. I meant at the board. All right, we have. All right, they're putting us. So we have Illinois 1 and Texas 1. We have all the names. All right, we're good to go. This quiz is open. Question 1 is a quotation completion question worth 10 points. Question.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
That is correct. Question 2 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question. What is far spent?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
What is far spent and what is at hand is found in Romans chapter 13, verse 12. The night is far spent, the day is at hand.
That is correct. Question 3 is worth 10 points. Question. Under what condition are the branches holy?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Are the branches holy is found in Romans chapter 11, verse 16. If the root be holy.
That is correct. Question 4 is worth 10 points. Question. Eternal life is written.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Is rendered. It goes down to Romans 2, verse 7. To them who by patient continuance and well doing seek for glory and honor and immortality.
That is correct. Question 5 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question. Who shall reign in life?
Yellow, 3.
Interruption.
Who shall reign in life by who? According to Romans chapter 5, verse 17. They which receive abundance of grace with the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one Jesus Christ.
That is correct. Question 6 is worth 10 points. Question. Paul said to bless and curse not.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Bless and curse not who, as found in Romans chapter 12, verse 14. Them which persecute you.
That is correct. Question 7 is worth 10 points. Question. What happened by one man's
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
What happened by one man's disobedience? That's found in Romans chapter 5, verse 19. Because by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners.
That is correct. Question 8 is worth 10 points. Question. What did Paul say he had in his heart as?
Red, 1.
Interruption.
As recorded in verse 2 of Romans chapter 9. Great heaviness and continual sorrow.
That is correct. Question 9 is worth 20 points. Question. About the minister, what is stated?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
What is stated in Romans chapter 13, verse 4? For he is the minister of God to thee for good, but if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, or avenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
That is correct. Question 10 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question. According to which verse of study, they that are after what?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
They that are after what? Do mind what? As found in Romans chapter 8, verse 5. They that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
That is incorrect. This interrupted three-part question will be read for Texas without interruption. Question. According to which verse of study, they that are after what mind what?
Yellow, 3.
Romans chapter 8, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, and they that are after the Spirit do mind the things of the Spirit.
That is correct. Contested by Illinois.
Tied.
All right, after consideration, first of all, the contest is denied. However, there's always a however in life, right? For a different reason, we're going to reverse the ruling on red 3, and that would be correct. So it's as if the reread never happened then. So red 3 was correct.
Point of order.
Yes.
Just want to understand, if the reread never happened, my contest is still denied, even though I didn't contest because the reread never happened.
Yeah, I think so.
I know we're studying in Paul's lawyer talk.
That's right.
All right, so I have one tonight. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes, but that is, so red 3 was correct, but because it was for a different reason is why there was a denial there. And so, we're good to go. So yellow 3 is not involved at all. All right, now we're ready for question 11. Question 11 is worth 20 points. Question: what is the only question asked?
Red 3.
Interruption. What is the only question asked in Romans 6 verse 2? How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be reread for Texas without interruption. Question: what is the only question asked about power in Romans chapter 13?
Yellow 3.
Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power?
That is correct. Question 12 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question: what statement follows the question, who is he that?
Red 3.
Interruption. Who is he that condemneth? Is found in which verse of Romans chapter 8? It is Christ that died, yea, rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. For 8 verse 34.
That is correct.
Time out, please.
Time out for Illinois.
Tied.
Time in for question 13. It is a quotation completion question worth 20 points. Question, let not.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that you should obey it in the lusts thereof.
That is correct. Question 14 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question, we conclude that who is justified.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Who is justified by what, without what? It's found in Romans chapter 3, verse 28. A man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law.
That is incorrect. This interrupted three-part question will be read for Texas without interruption. Question, we conclude that who is justified how, as recorded in which verse of Romans chapter 3?
Yellow, 3.
That man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Romans chapter 3, verse 28.
That is correct. Question 15 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question, the word unbelief.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
The word unbelief is contained in a single verse of study. Quote this verse. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
That is incorrect. This interrupted quotation question will be read for Texas without interruption. Question, the word unbelief is found in one verse of Romans chapter 4. Quote this verse.
Yellow, 2.
He staggered not at the promise of God, throwing the deep, full of strong faith, in glory to God.
That is correct. Question 16 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, how many things pertain to the Israelites?
Red, 3.
Interruption. Pertain to the Israelites, and what are they? Is found in Romans chapter 9, verse 4. The adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. Verse 6.
That is correct. Question 17 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 20 points. Question, in chapter 16, which verse contains the words all nations and which verse contains the words all men?
Red, 1.
All nations is in verse 26. All men is in verse 19.
That is correct. Time out for Texas.
Tied.
Diane, for question 18. It is a quotation question worth 30 points. Question. Quote the verse that contains the word simplicity.
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Tied.
That is incorrect. This interrupted quotation question will be reread for text. This is without interruption. Question. Quote the verse that contains the word simplicity.
Tied.
Question 19 is a cross-reference quotation question worth 30 points. Question. Quote the verses of Romans chapter 15 that mention Spain.
Yellow, 3.
Whensoever I take my journey into Spain, I will come to you, for I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way thitherward by you. If first I be somewhat ill with your company, when therefore I perform this, and I said unto them this fruit, I will come by you into Spain.
That is correct. Excuse me. I'm supposed to be seated now. All right. After review, our astute judges here called to my attention that that is incorrect on yellow 3. Incorrect.
Time out.
Now, time out for Illinois. It is the right word, isn't it?
Tied.
Time in for question 20. It is a cross-reference 4-part question worth 30 points. Question. We are sure that what, according to which verse of Romans chapter 2, and I am sure that...
Red, 1.
Interruption.
And I am sure that what, according to which verse of Romans chapter 15? Romans chapter 2, verse 2, we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things. Romans chapter 15, verse 29, I am sure that when I come unto you, I shall come in the fullness of the blessing of the gospel of Christ.
That is correct. Contest by Texas. 60 seconds to complete.
It's over if nothing changes.
This contest is withdrawn, and I'm informed this quiz is closed. Let's give Illinois and Texas a hand. I'm informed that Illinois has won, so we will have Illinois in our next quiz. Illinois 1 will stay on the red, and Illinois 2 will come to the yellow. Of course, that means that Texas 1 is our 4th place finisher. Congratulations to them. All right, we have a medal ceremony. So to be exact, the scores, 95 points for Texas 1, again our 4th place finisher, and then the winner, Illinois 1 with 155 points. The second high score was Grayson with 60 points. Grayson. And the high score that wins the silver medal was Luke with 85 points. Luke. All right, and if the 4th place team from Texas will come along. We'll have a much bigger trophy for you tomorrow evening. Of this group, only one has to go on to the experience. The other 3 would have a choice, of course. So you'll be hearing a lot more from Texas. Let's give them a great hand. 4th place finisher. All right, congratulations to them, and they'll get their team trophy again tomorrow evening.
experienced is.
Oh, they do? 3 before tonight. Yeah, it's ready for 7. Unless they have an Armageddon.
Alexander and Lake Charles have to visit where that was Russell's kids.
Okay.
And then where that is.
Oh, Missouri. I thought you were the only team.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, but, yeah, Missouri was.
Yeah, face them and then just say who faces you tomorrow morning. Kinda. I wasn't on this one. You don't know either. You're studying the Bible. You don't, when they say that, start your engines, is that a NASCAR thing? Or I don't, you don't know because you're studying the Bible all the time. I don't know either. Is that what they say? Seriously? You don't know either? Nobody's taking the bait. You know what they say? Is that what they say at NASCAR? We'll ask the coaches. Is that what they say at NASCAR? Start your engine? Ah, see?
They don't say gentlemen.
Oh, is that women drivers?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's it.
Thank
It
you.
went from gentlemen to gentlemen's and Danica or gentleman and lady. Now
Oh,
it's drivers.
oh, just drivers.
Because of that.
Oh, drivers. Okay, all right. Well, quizzers, start your engines. How's that go? All right. Congratulations to these two fine teams. And is this deja vu all over again? I don't have round one, but yeah, it is. Okay, here we go. Get everybody in place. This quiz is open. Question 1 is worth 10 points. Question: sight of all men.
Yellow, 2.
Interruption.
Locate the verse of study that contains this information. Romans chapter 12, verse 17.
That is correct. Question 2 is a quotation completion question worth 10 points. Question:
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Let not then your good be evil spoken of.
It is incorrect. This interrupted quotation completion question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question: let every one of us please.
Red, 1.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
That is correct. Question 3 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question: how many people salute you?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
How many people salute you, and who are they? Is found in Romans 16, verse 21. Timothy is my poor fellow, and Lucius and Jason is also Peter, my kinsman. Therefore.
That is correct. Contest by Illinois. 2.
Tied.
Contest is withdrawn. Question 4 is worth 10 points. Question, whose household is mentioned?
Yellow, 2.
Interruption.
Is mentioned in Romans chapter 16, verse 10, Aristobulus' household?
That is correct. Question 5 is worth 10 points. Question, approved in Christ.
Yellow, 2.
Interruption.
Locate the verse of study that contains this phrase. Romans chapter 16, verse 13.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 10-point question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question, approved in Christ. About whom were these words recorded?
Red, 1.
Appellees.
That is correct. Question 6 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question, destroy not what?
Yellow, 2.
Interruption.
With what? As recorded in Romans chapter 14, verse 15. Thy brother, him for whom Christ died, thy meat.
That is
Tied.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question, destroy not what, for what, according to Romans chapter 14, verse 20.
Red, 1.
Destroy not the work of God for me.
That is correct. Question 7 is a two-part question worth 10 points. Question, being made free from what?
Red, 3.
Interruption. Being made free from what? You became the servants of what is found in Romans 6, verse 18. Being made free from sin, you became the servants of righteousness.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Illinois 2 without interruption. Question, being made free from what? He became what, as found in verse 18 of Romans chapter 6.
Yellow, 2.
Being then made free from sin, ye became the servants of righteousness.
That is correct. Question 8 is worth 10 points. Question, as found in verse 7 of Romans chapter 9, in whom?
Yellow, 2.
Interruption.
In whom shall thy seed be called? Isaac.
That is correct. Question 9 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question, according to which two consecutive verses of Romans chapter 1, what did Paul?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
What did Paul say concerning his son, Jesus Christ our Lord? 1 verse 3 and 4, concerning his son, Jesus Christ our Lord, just made us seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, when resurrected from the dead.
That is incorrect. This interrupted two-part question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question, according to which two consecutive verses of Romans chapter 1, what did Paul do without ceasing?
Red, 1.
Verses 9 and 10. For God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of the Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, making request, if by any means, not length, I might have a prosperous journey by the will of God, to come unto you.
That is correct. Contest, I heard, by Illinois 2.
Tied.
This contest is denied. Now we're ready for question 10. Question 10 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question: man does what unto?
Red, 3.
Interruption. Man does what unto what is found in which verse of Romans chapter 10? With the heart, man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Chapter 10, verse 10.
Tied.
Right, that is incorrect, and this interrupted three-part question will be read for Illinois 2 without interruption. Question: man does what unto righteousness and what unto salvation, as recorded in which verse of Romans chapter 10?
Tied.
Yellow 1 and yellow 2.
Captain, you get to choose who shall answer. Yellow 2. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
With the heart, man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation. Romans chapter 10, verse 10.
That is correct. Question 11 is a two-part question worth 20 points. Question: according to verse 11 of Romans chapter 16, Paul said to salute.
Red, 1.
Interruption.
Said to salute whom and greet whom? Salute Herodian, my kinsman. Greet them that be of the household of Narcissus, which are in the Lord.
That is correct. Question 12 is worth 20 points. Question: thou shalt be saved.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Thou shalt be saved under what conditions is recorded in Romans chapter 10, verse 9. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thy heart that God raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved.
That is correct. Question 13 is worth 20 points. Question: Paul told the brethren, I would not.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
Paul told the brethren, I would not have you ignorant of this mystery. Why is recorded in Romans chapter 1, verse 13. But oftentimes the purpose to come unto you, but that those that hear the truth and are not suffering from among you also, even as among other Gentiles.
That is incorrect. This interrupted 20-point question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question: Paul told the brethren, I would not have you ignorant of what, according to Romans chapter 11, verse 25.
Red, 3.
Now would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise and learn to see that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the age of the Amen.
That is correct. Question 14 is a three-part question worth 20 points. Question: what power does who have?
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
What power does who have? It's recorded in which verse of our study. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth.
Tie.
That is incorrect. This interrupted three-part question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question: what power does who have over what, according to Romans chapter 9, verse 21?
Red, 1.
Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Tie.
That is correct. Timeout for Illinois 2. Timeout Illinois 2.
Tie.
All right, time in for question 15. Question 15 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question: quote the verse of Romans chapter 3 that contains the words one.
Yellow, 1.
Interruption.
One God, singular, is one God which is the circumcision by faith, uncircumcision through faith.
Tie.
That is incorrect, and this interrupted quotation question will be reread for Illinois 1 without interruption. Question. Quote the verse of Romans chapter 3 that contains the words, one God.
Red, 3.
Seeing it is one God, which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith.
That is correct. Question 16. Time out for Illinois 2.
Tied.
All right, time in for question 16. Question 16 is a cross-reference two-part question worth 20 points. Question. Verse 25 of Romans chapter 3 speaks of declaring what?
Red, 3.
Interruption.
Declaring what? And verse 26 of Romans chapter 3 speaks of declaring what? To declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past to the forbearance of God. To declare to save this time his righteousness that he might be just and justified who might believe in Jesus. And God is set forth to be appreciated in faith and blood.
Tied.
That is incorrect. This interrupted cross-reference two-part question will be reread for Illinois 2 without interruption. Question. Verse 25 of Romans chapter 3 speaks of declaring what? And the following verse speaks of declaring what?
Yellow, 2.
To declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past, for the forbearance of God, to declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just and justified with him which believeth in Jesus, whom God has set forth to be propitiation.
That is incorrect. Test by Illinois 1.
Aye.
Withdraw, sir.
This contest is withdrawn. Question 17 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question. One verse ends in the word prayer.
Red, 3.
Interruption. Quote this verse. Rejoicing in hope and the patient in tribulation continuing in prayer.
That is correct.
Time out.
Time out for Illinois 1.
Trying to promote yourself, huh? Although you are the captains, but we need you to stay there for the record.
Aye.
All right, time in for the 30s. Question 18 is a cross-reference four-part question worth 30 points. Question. What is stated in the verse of Romans chapter 15 that contains the words, grace that is given, and what is this verse? And what is stated in the verse of Romans chapter 12 that contains the words, grace that is given, and what is this verse?
Aye.
Question 19 is a cross-reference quotation question worth 30 points. Question. Quote all the words of Isaiah as recorded in Romans chapter 10.
Aye.
And question 20 is a four-part question worth 30 points. Question. As found in which consecutive verses of Romans chapter 10, Isaiah is what and saith what, but to Israel he saith what?
Aye.
And the quiz is closed.
This quiz is closed. Please give Illinois 1 and 2 a hand. And Illinois 1 has come out the winner, so they will be in the finals with Western 1 tomorrow morning. And of course, Illinois 2, they placed third in the tournament. Congratulations to Illinois 2. We'll have the results ribbons, looks like a silver medal, and then I do have participation awards for Illinois 2.
Tomorrow? Yeah, actually, I think we may have some more fancier ones. It's drawn, I guess.
Okay,
All right, here we go. We have the team scores. 25 points for Illinois 2, and then Illinois 1 was 145 to win. Our second high scorer was Grayson with 90 points. Oh, I'm sorry. Luke was the second high scorer with 45. Grayson was the high scorer and wins the silver medal with 90 points. There you go. Luke, second. Grayson, first.
Sorry about that. Concentration. There you go. Congratulations. I put the silver, but I don't have the music. Mom?